Herr Steiner!
Oh, you got it done. You know how it works now, you see?
Yeah. Your hair is grown.
Yeah, you
Tá com
see?
cabelo grande. Very nice. How are you doing this quarantine time?
All good, thank you. I'm fine. I'm at home. I came home after Australia and we are here since then. And I maybe go out. I think I start to go a little bit more. North Carolina is pretty good. You know, it's not a big infection rate, so it's very calm, everything here.
All right. And are you are you more German or more Italian on the way of doing your schedule?
I'm more like you, which is
German.
correct. Yeah, I'm very,
Yeah, okay.
very.
Sehr.
Yeah.
Well,
No, we try to do it properly. You know, it's no point to try to cut corners. So.
And especially now that seems that they're going to
Getting
start
better.
in
Yeah,
Austria,
yeah.
huh? Do
Yeah.
you believe?
Mhm. Yeah, I believe. Yeah.
Great. Say,
Yeah, hopefully.
let's. Are you having lunch? Are we in the middle
No,
of your
no, no, no.
lunch?
I'm fine. I'm having lunch afterwards. How long does it last, Mariana?
As much as you want. We have an hour.
No, I'm not going to do an hour.
Okay. So let's talk. And then
Yeah.
when you are hungry, you said, "Okay, Mariana, you just stop me. You know, I cannot
Okay.
stop talking." So just to begin with, your father was a butcher. He's still alive,
No,
your father?
no, he passed away a long time ago. He passed away in '84. He was very young when he passed away. Yeah, but he was a butcher. Yeah.
Did you work with him?
No, you know, as a kid, you help out, and but I never worked. I never worked there. No, I never. When I was a kid, I went. You know, in these days, you had to help your family because we had our own business. So everything, every help was needed, which was available. So I just, you know, cleaning and stuff like this in the evening, I had to do. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about having a meat restaurant or a meat something?
No, not really. I mean, I like to eat beef, but I guess it's too late now to change career, I guess.
No, at that time I thought.
No. It was, you know, it was different days. Maybe you're too young to remember these days, you know. We didn't have all the opportunities we have now, and we didn't have all the information we have got now, you know. So you just try to do one thing and try to get that one going. So somehow it was easier, but somehow it was more complicated. But
your mother?
she worked with my father. They run the shop together. You know, it was a family business.
Who was the one who was responsible of shutting your how do I say this, your mouth in a way that you're saying bad words? Who was the one who said that?
I was always a nice guy like him now.
Yeah,
I
you
would
are.
never open my mouth, you know. I'm very
But you
quiet,
have a
you
very you have a very special way of expressing yourself, I can say, of cursing, I would say. Who was responsible to say, "Nah, yeah"?
Both of them. I mean, both of them. As I said, I was very calm before. It takes a long time until you get excited. You know, you see me very calm now. You know, but when I get excited,
and then it got worse. And then tell me a bit, how was your time on the rally life? I came from rally too. I loved rally. Do you miss rally still or not?
I think rally was different a long time ago than it is now, and I have not been on a rally maybe now for 15 years at least. So, but I just know in the time when in the mid 80s, I think it was a lot more. I wouldn't say exact. It was just different. We had no, you know, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have anything. You were on your own, and you went to countries. I mean, between testing and trekking, you stayed on a rally for months at least, 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, I sometimes was in Africa already in December for 3 weeks, and then came back for Christmas and went back to Africa, go testing in Kenya for another 3 weeks, and then came back, and then we went to the race 4 weeks before in April. So it was just different because there was a lot of adventure involved in it as well, you know, because you were on your own. I mean, it was much more, you had to make more of your own decisions than we do now. Everything is planned and everything is thought for. In the old days, sometimes you were still on your own. And I think I think I was fortunate to have been in that time in rallying because you could learn a lot and you made a lot of mistakes. But if you are half clever, you learn out of the mistakes and next time you don't make them anymore. So you go through a lot of learning in a very short period of time. Because, I mean, we sometimes went, I mean, with Carlos Sainz, for example, we went once to Argentina to do the recce, did Argentina rally, flew direct to New Zealand from Argentina. So I was away 2 months and we didn't have cell phones or nothing. We just kept on going, you know. It was just like you got 2-3 mechanics to go with you, an envelope full of cash money.
Oh, God.
And off you go, you know. I mean, it's like, it was, I quite like that one. I think it has changed a lot now. I think it's still an interesting sport because the challenge for the drivers is, I mean, if you see them going in the forest, it's pretty cool. I mean, I find it cool, you know, because it cannot be easy. And I mean, I've been a few times in a rally car. Yeah, it isn't, but things change. I don't think it's adventure like it was before because now they have service park. In the old days during the rally, you just had to find a place beside the road that you had to change tires. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. You just needed to get it done.
Do you talk about this when you meet Carlos Sainz, the senior?
Oh yeah, we talk. Yeah. I mean, you know, I've got a good relationship with Carlos because first of all, I worked as a mechanic for him with the Lancia. I think it was in the early 90s, and then he was the driver of the Ford Focus when I was technical director at M Sport. So I mean, we have our ups and downs, but in the moment, you know, we don't work together, so we are pretty happy to see each other.
Remember but, good times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, and for sure, he's one of the guys which, at his time, he was one of the stars. You know, because he was so good, so professional, and if anybody, and I continue to say this to people, if anybody wants to see a professional working, Carlos Sainz, he is it. You know.
What did you learn from that time that you use today? Did you?
I mean, a lot. I mean, making decisions in a short period of time. You know, when you have to make a decision, not to take a long time to make it, but to make the best decision possible at that moment in time. It wouldn't be perfect. There will be a compromise because you didn't have enough time to get all the information, but you just try to do the best you can. You learn that quick because in rallying, you didn't have time. And it's just like, think on your own, think on your feet, you know, just always keep on thinking, you know, you can never just have a normal day in the office.
I was thinking about your career in Formula One. You seem to be a good guy, or you like the challenge. It seems like you like the challenge of building a team from scratch, or just, you know, beginning a team. We could see that in Jaguar when Niki called you, and Red Bull too, and then again in Haas. How was your relationship with Niki?
I mean, it was very good. I mean, I knew of him before I worked for him and with him. I knew of him, but I never met the guy. And when he called me, I mean, for me, it was like, yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, he was one of the heroes, you know, coming from South Tyrol. He was Austrian. He was very famous. So people followed him. And after when we worked together, we established a good relationship, a very good friendship, you know, and I always, in the time after Jaguar, we stayed in contact. And I mean, I spoke with him, I would say, all the time, at least once a month. And then when I started to get this Haas project going, I called him up and said, if it is a complete stupid idea, you know, so, you know, that you had to talk with Niki. You couldn't ask him what you think about it, because then he said it's stupid. So you have to ask the other way, you know. and he actually helped on the way to make it happen. And people find, how did he help? You know, if you call somebody up, or if I call up, or Mr. Lauda calls up, a lot of people answer to Mr. Lauda. Some people don't answer to somebody who wants to open an F1 team, you know. So he was always a big help, and he was one of the first ones when we debuted in 2016 in Barcelona at the test, to come to our garage and see. And his word was, I just need to check what you effed up, you know. So that was his words when he walked
Come on,
in,
we are free here. You can do. Your mother is not here. Come on, you're free. Especially talking about him. Do you see? Many people compare you, the two of you, in a way that you just speak freely. Do you see that in any way?
I don't do it intentionally. I think when you, I mean, I decided to try always to be honest and say what you think. You know, it's no point to say something what you don't think. That's a waste of time, because then you have to re-say it when you really want to say what you want to say. So, I mean, for sure, having been with him, you learn a little bit of this. It's just like, okay, we don't need to, I mean, we need to be correct, but we don't need to be artificially nice to each other, you know. Just say it. It's not malicious if I say something what you don't like, but at least everybody knows where they stand at. And I quite like that approach. I have no problem with it. So maybe working with him, that came out a little bit more with myself. It gave me the confidence that it's okay to do it, you know. It's okay to do it, you know. There's nothing wrong with it as long as you don't offend people. And I think Niki never offended anybody. And I normally don't try to offend people, but sometimes they take it as an offense. But it's not trying to diminish or to offend people, you know. That's never my aim, going into any or saying anything.
Did you have to, in any time, go to someone and say, you know, I heard that you were hurt and it was not my intention?
And I have no problem to apologize as well, you know. Mariana, it's fine with me. I mean, sometimes we are not all perfect, and sometimes, you know, I get emotional about things and I say things I wouldn't say, but I'm never too proud to say, if I did wrong, to say, hey, dude, I mean, I didn't mean it, what I said, you know. It's like, it was just, I got a little bit, you know, there's a lot of pressure sometimes, and then you think back, I shouldn't have said that. So you go back and apologize, and hopefully they accept the apologies, and then you move on, you know.
Did it happen with any of your drivers, Magnussen or Grosjean?
The good thing with them is, after, when I calm down, and when they know me now, so they know they need to let me calm down, and then we speak about things, how they happened, you know. So it's like, so sometimes it just needs to be more clarification and apologies. But if I was off the rail, I say, hey, I didn't mean it. It's just like it gets to you, you know, because you want to, what you're trying to do in the car, everybody, me inclusive, is trying to do in the garage. We're not stupid, you know. We are not doing this because we intentionally are stupid. It just happened. And if you start on to complain about things, I've got quite a short fuse there, because it's like, guys, nobody's doing anything stupid on purpose here, you know. We all work hard. It's the same like you out there. You're not trying to do it on purpose, you know. We make mistakes and things like this. So, but you know, in the heat of the battle, sometimes that gets a lot more verbal than it should be. So normally I clear the air afterwards. It's okay.
What's the, I think once it's things are clear, it's easier to have a relationship than having something you feel that something is under the carpet. What I read is that you interviewed 90% of your team. How much of these guys are still with you there?
I would say I interview, what I do, just to explain the process. I don't pick the people, the people which get interviewed for the manager they need to work to. And I just have the last interview to see their character more than anything else, if they fit the team. I'm not, for example, I'm not interviewing them for their technical capabilities anymore, because they have been two or three interviews already. I just want to see the person. And sometimes I would say the people which are working close with me know what I expect. So also what it stops you, that they know that if I interview them and they are wrong, they don't like that, you know. So they make sure that the candidate which comes to me, it's the right candidate. So they put more effort in, you know. It's also trying to put the best effort in, that we get the best candidates to the end. And I say, sometimes if somebody doesn't feel right, do not hire him just to have a person there. Wait until the right one comes along. And I would say in the beginning, the people which I interviewed, the senior people, I would say about 90% are still there. You know, the first group of people, I mean, we have got quite a good relationship with most of them, you know, personally. And we are small, Mariana. You have to think that we are not a 900 people team. We are 200 people in total. And the closed people with me are maybe 10, 15, you know, which, you know, and I, in the period now, I try to call them once a week at least, update them a little bit. And some of the people you work on a daily basis, because so I don't call them up to speak about this, but some of the people are furloughed. So just to keep them a little bit engaged and make sure that they know that we are still a team, I call them.
What kind of people do you like to work with? Once you know that they're capable technically, what do you, when you interview, what you're looking for?
If they are brave enough to, I don't want people which agree what I say, you know. I don't need to be always the right. You know, I know if I have people which I'm not critical, but which have got an opinion about something, they should say it, because maybe they're right, and I'm happy to listen. And if they have an argument to make, I'm always there to listen. At some stage, somebody has to make a decision, and I will make it, you know. And sometimes, I wouldn't say you upset, people are disappointed, but they know normally I'm not afraid if somebody says, Günther, I think this is wrong what you're saying. I don't like yes men, you know, which agree what I'm saying, because then you don't make progress, because then it's only me thinking. And I think a lot of people know more than me on my own. I then can pick the best decision to make. I think maybe I should do that because I know the bigger picture. But that is what I like, people which can speak up for themselves, always in, you know, civilized and everything. But I'm never afraid of having not an argument, but a discussion about something. I'm never afraid of. And I quite like people which have the guts to stand up to it.
Do you think that the team, it's an American team, Gene came to you, you know how to work with Americans, you have experience on that. Do you think Haas has a different way of management, on your way of managing, that other teams? Because for me, you know, from outside, it seems simpler.
Yeah, and I would say that, I think that is one thing I learned since I moved here. You know, you come here and you think you have to implement the way we think in Europe. And there is no right or wrong. It's just different. And once you learn it, it took me about 6 months to learn that there is more than one way to do things good, you know. So I think simplifying things, you're absolutely right. We are just much more simple, more streamlined. You can speak with anybody. And it's like, it's no point to make complication. And the other thing what I've got with, I think that's a freedom I've got. I can speak. A lot of other team principals, they're working for big corporates. You're not free to speak what you want to say. I mean, I wouldn't say I can say what I want to say, but most of it, you know. So there is limitations to everything, you know, and sometimes I shouldn't say things I say, but it's all right, you know. I get by. I'm ducking the bullets, you know. So, but you're absolutely right. I think we are just like, I would not say simpler, because simpler always means more ignorant. We are not more ignorant. We just try to create less work with the same result, more efficient.
No, yeah, I thought about simpler because that's what I thought, that people talk easier, not the hierarchy. It's not that hard, that strict. And seems to me, he seems to be a simpler person in a way that he's not all dressed up. He's dressed with a team shirt, and I mean, it seems for me, yeah, more a team which is more together. I know that we are not going to talk too much, so I have the questions from the people who were following me when I said that I was going to interview. You have a lot of fans in Brazil, a lot.
Thank you very much.
Did you, I think people like this hard thing of you that just comes out of your mouth all of a sudden. And because we are like this too. Although I'm part German like you, my Brazilian goes a little bit.
I'm not German like you. I'm from South Tyrol.
I'm not.
You are. Yeah.
He's from North. No, he's from North Italy, but he speaks with a German accent. I don't have German accent. I'm not. I'm Brazilian. Listen. Well, first the question which everybody asks: why do you keep on with Grosjean and Magnussen?
I think I answered this question about 1,000 times.
I know, but I have to.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, I'm not. You know, it's like I think Magnussen. There is not a big dispute about Magnussen. A lot of people were critical, I would say, about Grosjean last year, why we kept him. But we had a very difficult year last year in 19, and the car was not what it should be. And there was a point where I said, I don't need any more distraction. And you can say, take another driver in, it could have given you more opportunity, bringing new things. We ended up on a 50-50, plus against minuses. And we decided, hey, just leave the driver alone in the moment. We know Romain on a good day can be very good. He just hasn't got enough good days in the moment, So is it easier to work to try to get him more good days, or to have a new driver in and work with that one after we have to fix this car, which was very difficult to drive, very, very temperamental. So, I mean, in the moment, I think I'm pretty happy without having raced yet and not having no chance to go racing properly, not to have changed driver, because at least on that side, I know what I've got, So we need to deal with it, obviously, but maybe with a condensed calendar, everybody's more focused when it comes back and we have good results. But it was a 50-50, and in the end, we decided to stay conservative and stay with what we know.
Which are the chances of Pietro coming to drive to you, Fittipaldi?
I think we said we start to talk about when we have a few races under our belt, but we haven't got that. So all the driver market is I mean, it's not the things I focus on. I mean, people ask me, when does silly season start? I said, let's the season start before we start the silly one.
Yeah, of course.
That is the main that's the main thing. And I think we will get to a point where we need to discuss who is going to drive the car going forward. And Pietro, for sure. We have him there as a reserve driver. He's unfortunate not to can race again in any series. So I actually texted with him a little bit. I need to call him. I haven't spoken with him for a few weeks now, even if not more than a month. Even if he lives only 15 minutes from me here in North Carolina. Yeah. Oh yeah, he lives only 50 minutes down the road. Very close by.
He's a nice guy. But, he's a super nice guy.
No, and I need to speak with him. I mean, I don't know if there is anything he's going to do in racing this year. He would have told me on WhatsApp if he would have, but I don't think so. I just need to catch up with him. But in the moment, back to the drivers when we decide, I don't know, it's not a priority. For me, the priority is now going back to racing, getting everything going again, getting into somehow normal way of life, what is normal for us, going racing, and then we see what we do with drivers. What's
the impression you have on your car for this year, if you compare to last year?
I think the midfield is very tight, and even if it is only 2 months since we tested the car in February in Spain, I almost have forgotten about it. It seems like we did the last running years ago. It's very strange, So, I mean, I just need to say what I said after the testing. The car is in the midfield, but there is 4 cars or 4 teams very close in the midfield. So I don't know where we end up, and before we go on to a qualifying, we will not know. But I think we are in the midfield. We should be out of this temperamental car from last year. Anyway, that's what I hope for.
Which is the best driver of all times for you? Talking about history. Or if you want to talk about these guys in our days too, but I mean, who's the guy?
I think it's so difficult to compare drivers now and then, because the skills, I think, are also so different, So, but there's so many very good drivers which I admire, each of them in his own era. I mean, for example, Fangio. I mean, he was fantastic, but how would he be now? I don't know. It's things. But then you say it's Fangio that time. Then it's Jackie Stewart, Niki Lauda. They're all drivers in their time. They were fantastic, Schumacher. I mean, now Lewis. It's fantastic, So there is more than one.
Would it be a dream to have him in your team? No, a dream team to have Lewis in your team.
I mean, for sure, anybody, but I don't think Lewis is dreaming about the Haas car.
I remember when he ran around the track with Frank Williams in the car, and Claire came to him and said, "You have just one lap to convince Daddy, to convince him to bring him for him to drive for us to Williams." Remember that? She said that to Frank.
To Frank, it was cool. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So Lewis, and who else would you have if you could?
I think Leclerc in the moment. Or Max or Leclerc, one of the two. I wouldn't know. Depends who
What?
asks for less money. Depends who asks for less money, you see.
Easy to deal with, huh? Easy to deal with in the same team, huh? To manage.
Oh, I'm not afraid, you know.
Really? To have
No.
these two? Oh God, these two and you would
Yeah.
kill each other.
Yeah.
What do you think that Grosjean is so unstable? Or do you think he's unstable?
I don't know. If I would know, I would fix it. I mean, it's maybe a simplistic answer to it, but I don't know really what makes him tick and what not. I mean, it's amazing how good he can be sometimes, you know, and sometimes it's amazing the mistakes he makes, you know. I don't know what it is. If I would know, I would fix it.
Which is the worst mistake, coming from the driver or from the team for you?
They're all the same. For me, the team,
It's not.
but drivers are part of the team, so I do not split it up. They are part of the team, and they shouldn't make mistakes, and the team shouldn't make mistakes.
How's your relationship with Romain?
It's good, you know. It's okay. I mean, you know, we in the moment I speak with both drivers once a week just to update them what is going on, just to make sure that they're always informed, you know, because sometimes when you work on a daily project like this now, you think everybody knows the same as you know, but you don't. So I normally try to call them at least once a week and to update them if there's any news when we go back racing, what is happening with the team and so on.
Do you think that the pressure is heavier on your shoulders or on their shoulders?
I think it's different pressure. What they've got, I think, more pressure in a short period of time, but I've got more pressure over a long period of time or constant, you know. So it's different. But I also in the race, I mean, I put myself under a lot of pressure. I don't know why, but I enjoy that, you know, that pressure.
You do?
Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it.
But how are you at home? Are you the same thing?
No, I'm pretty calm. I'm pretty calm. I'm very focused what I'm doing. You know, I'm working, but I'm calm. I'm really, and you know me well enough to know that I'm normally pretty chilled out. You know, it doesn't mean that I'm relaxed. It just means that it doesn't need to be. For me, it's no fun to go around always in a bad mood. You know, you need to.
No, but I mean, sometimes people like to be under pressure all the time and put people around. I mean, family under pressure, like you have to do things like this, or are you relaxed at home?
I'm relaxed. I mean, I think my wife and my daughter know what I expect, and they know me well enough that they know exactly to get to the point before I tip, you know. You know how women are. You know how women are. They always take you to the edge, but not over the edge, you know.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. I mean, I can concur with your husband on that one, you know.
Do you cook at home or not?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
I mean, every day, do you?
No, if I'm at home, every second day at least, because I like it. You know, it gives me something else to do outside of my job. You know, it's just like, it's a distraction because I'm not good just sitting on the couch doing nothing. You know, I want to keep busy, you know, so and cooking is something which distracts me and I like it.
If you were not working in Formula One, what would you like to be doing, like in a...
I have no idea. I mean, I have no idea.
You don't have like...
No, I don't have a dream.
Wishes.
No, I'm pretty happy, you know. I mean, it's like, I'm sure I would be some entrepreneurial business just to keep always, you know, under pressure, because that's a lot more pressure than being employed, you know. So I quite like that, to make my own decisions. I like that. So, and I think I would do something as an entrepreneur. I don't know in what. Maybe I'm not good at anything anyway. So maybe I've been bankrupt already a few times.
Do you still like working with cars? As you were a mechanic, like, do you like working in your car?
They get too complicated, you know, and I don't have the time and the passion to work on cars anymore. I mean, I like them, to look at them, you know, and all that stuff, but not to work at it. I just haven't got the time. But you never know when you get older, when you have nothing to do anymore, that you start that one again. But they're just so complex, new cars, and I don't have a historic car or anything to play with, you know.
Okay. So, do you have any hobbies? Just to finish.
No, not really. I mean, the time I've off, I normally spend with my family.
You don't do cycling or because you're
No.
always fit?
Uh, I mean, that's a little bit too complimentary. I'm not this fit.
No?
I mean, I walk. I walk. I like to when I'm back in northern Italy, go up the mountains and things like this. I like to do that. But otherwise, I think I'm fortunate. My hobby is my job, so it doesn't fit. Sometimes you go automatically to go to work because you think that is what you're doing for fun as well.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Thank you. Go and have your lunch. Thank you very, very much. It was super
No,
nice.
it's a
And take
pleasure.
care of yourself.
Thank you, Mariana.
I
Thank you.
hope to see you in July.
Exactly. Let's fingers crossed. We go there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.